Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Mixed Master, and with me today are two dogs. They're my good friends Essie McPeter and Manny Cruz, the Toonie Tenor. Say hi.
My name is Manny, and I'm about to say my dog's name is Nina, and she drives me cray.
Wait, hold on. It's not Mixed Master, Manny. It's Mixed Master. You're confusing it.
But I have my Poochie cosplay and everything ready to go. To the extreme.
To the extreme, and that's what this short is, to the extreme. Actually, I think it might need a bit of Poochie in it.
Look at how fast I got my Simpsons reference in, boys and girls.
Alright, so this is a review for Mixed Master, released on the 14th of April 1956. It's the 767th in the series, and it's directed by Bob McKimson. Now, this short is fully restored, but at the time of this recording, there's no physical media release yet. It may be one of the last ones, because this is kind of a really weird, obscure one, but hopefully one day it will still come out on physical media. You won't find this on YouTube unless Warner Brothers themselves choose to upload it, and why would they? I don't know. Strange things have happened, but if you haven't seen this one, well, all that really happens is that the master of the Mixed Master in this case brings home a small dog in order to be a companion to the other dog that they already have. Fast forward, the dog ends up growing up to be a big dog, and we get a whole bunch of shenanigans after that. It's like a very sitcom-y type thing. In terms of trivia, the only one I really have, and I might as well get it out of the way quickly, is that the title, and Manny, it's not Mix Master again. I just want to make it absolutely clear. It's Mixed Master.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay. I'm like Homer going, whoa, 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 you know, when he's trying to sing along with those workers in that one obscure... Yeah, right. Anyway, enough Simpsons.
Or it's more like me when I was rapping before. Obviously, I was taking inspiration from Mr. Plow, and I'm here to say I'm the rappingest guy in the U. Yeah, so definitely just put a clip of me as Mr. Plow.
But Mix Master is actually the name of a home mixer. It's actually literally a brand, and they're just playing it up here. Oh, and the vocal credits, you got Mel Blanc doing the dog barking and the master, and June Foray does the voice of the wife, and she's uncredited as always. Confession time. First time I've ever seen this. I'd never even heard of this one before. And I watched it for the first time, because usually when I see one that I've never seen before, I'll watch it in full and not take any notes. I'll just see it first. And by the end of it, I was thinking, what was this? It's got one of those weirdest endings, and it's kind of all over the place. And yet, I can't hate it. I don't know. It's a weird one.
I don't know. It feels like this started as a follow-up attempt to the whole idea in terms of doing something UPA-ish, especially with the Stahl-Steinberg-ish designs of the humans, but it doesn't really play out. It feels like something happened with this cartoon, and the story and the design kind of went all over the place. I put my thumb on it of what could have happened, but it just feels like the magic was lost.
Maybe it started off as a sequel of sorts to Wildlife, because I definitely get the vibes from that short here.
I hadn't really thought of that one before.
Maybe it started off as a sequel, but then you had the shutdown, and then they just decided, you know what, let's just keep doing this idea and redesign the characters and call it a day. I don't know. Maddie, have you seen this one before? Like on TV or whatever?
I think maybe I saw this sometime on Cartoon Network. Okay, I have to do it, you know. Say the line, Manny. I did see that dog before. Come on, that's the only reason why people are going to listen to this. They just want to hear my accent. Dog. Ugh, sounds so weird. But I think maybe I saw it once or twice back then, but I really don't have a recollection. And, you know, the design of the dog himself, it looks like typical McKimson unit stuff. However, and we were talking about oh my God, here we go. We were talking about it prior to the recording, but as you brought it up in particular, this one is a real mismatch. Mismatch, there you go, words. I'm bilingual, folks, cut me some slack. A real mismatch, or whatever, of character designs. Because I remember the dog, because again, typical mid to late 50s Warner Brothers design, but then you got the couple, and yeah, that's a whole nother, I was going to say can of worms, but I'll say can of dog food. So, yeah.
Dog food.
Dog food.
I don't even remember if I've ever seen it on MeTV. I definitely have never saw this on anything, because I mostly just watched what was the DVDs for many years. But no, I must have encountered this at some point on MeTV, and I just don't remember because it's such an odd one. But as another dog owner here of my little Layla, I just find it just a very strange cartoon that I have to wonder, were dog owners really this weird back then?
Probably.
Yes. Are dog owners still weird? Yes.
Yes.
For example,
Me and SC.
There we are. That's why, as a cat owner, I actually prefer other people's dogs. They can do all the work, all the washing and the walking and all that stuff, and I can do all the cuddles. I'm happy to do that. Too lazy to dog, if I'm being honest. I'm just like that. But also, my schedule's so weird that it wouldn't be fair to the dog, but that's another thing entirely. Watching this one, yeah, it's quite clear. Look, Ted Pierce and Bob McKimson, they were known for doing a lot of TV parodies, especially once television really took off in the 1950s. And this one doesn't specifically parody any television show as far as I'm aware. Maybe there was something really obscure, I don't know. But it still has that sitcom feel. So you've got the husband and wife, they're bickering over something that's clearly a first world problem, i.e. getting a second dog. And there's also the trope with the whole boss, where the master's talking with the boss about doing an extra job for him, but then there's a misunderstanding. Oh no, I'm not calling you an idiot, boss, that kind of thing, which you see a million times in those 1950s sitcoms. Honestly, this one is probably more interesting from the point of view of its design. I just find it interesting. You've already mentioned the influence there. Every design here is 50s based, except the dog feels like it's in the 40s, and it's very wildly animated with all those brush strokes that you see. And even the other dog, Chang, looks a bit odd. Looks like it's part of the background at times and barely animated at all.
sort of uncanny Chang's design, because it has very realistic human pupils, but it just doesn't read because they're almost a little too big, the pupils inside the eyes, and it just, I don't know, it feels like this may have looked a little bit more livelier on the board with the designs, but it just feels like Bob McKimson couldn't fully adapt by himself to doing modern design, which is, I think, why some of the earlier cartoons, when he had Bob Gibbons, look a little bit more stylized, but here it just doesn't read that same way, unfortunately. And I think some of the color choices hold back some of the stylization as well. But I think it just is uneven, because even some of the posing on the humans is almost a little too full for how it should be. It feels like this unit didn't have a lot of experience animating stylized characters, or at least trying to.
One of the things that popped in my head now, talking about Chang and just how, especially the end, like, I had to rewatch that ending maybe 2 or 3 times because I'm like, what? That's such a weird smirk or like wink or whatever that Chang does. And Essie, you mentioned about the whole uncanny look with his eyes. It kind of reminds me, as a kid, the scene creeped me out, but in one of the space episodes of Ren and Stimpy, and the scene where Ren is hallucinating and he sees a female chihuahua outside of his tent. And it's a very realistic looking chihuahua, but God, that design always creeped me out as a kid. And then it makes it worse when it transforms into like a alien monster. But yes, like you saying that, Essie, just gave me that flashback to that. I know our buddy Devin Baxter has a lot of access to the roster of animators who did what scene, whatever. But a part of me is like, who did that drawing and why does it look so freaking weird?
To me, it just looks like they were just using whatever Bob McKimson hands them, which was usually the case. I think the last 2 scenes are by Russ Dyson, going by the draft, because thankfully that is available to us.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I just think a lot of the animation at this point is just they used whatever Bob McKimson was handing them, and it usually was just that. And I think your animation got as good as Bob McKimson could give you at that time by this point.
But I reckon we go through this short from start to finish and just go through why this one's such a really weird one. Starting with probably the weirdest thing about this is the title card itself. Why is there a Scottish Terrier?
I have a strange feeling that Chang was going to be a Scottish Terrier at one point. That's all I can really say.
Or there was miscommunication between where we did the title cards and the actual animation itself.
Maybe. These were usually, I think, done on the earlier side, the titles. They were done by a guy named Don Foster, who eventually did layouts for Jones in his own projects.
They could have been just a miscommunication, but oh, I'll say goodbye to the Scottish Terrier because you don't see that again. And we see Harry, who's the master here, who brings home this shaggy dog. And I gotta say, I love how small this dog looks. It's just the mouth that's more or less showing there. I thought that was cute, though.
Stay right there now. Come on. Come on, Robert. How do you like him, Alice? Isn't he cute?
It's a nice little thing. It's animated very loosely for stylized design, though, I have to say. But it's probably the best scene in this entire cartoon. There were some earlier shots that I think were actually removed, but I guess maybe trying to establish things. But there's a few scenes noted as out, so maybe Bob McKimson was trying to cut some exposition there. It looks like Ted Bonnickson is doing some of these early scenes for the most part, who could do looser things. He was actually, I believe, an assistant, or he was at Disney at some point, and then he came over to the Warner studio, and the last thing he worked on was some scenes for Fritz the Cat before he sadly died of leukemia.
So, Manny, was this pretty much Nina as a puppy? Like this initial shot, just a ball of fluff with a tongue sticking out?
She still is kind of a ball of fluff, but she did get a haircut, so she has a typical, I guess, puppy look. In case you guys don't know, Nina is a Morkie, so she's half Yorkshire Terrier and half Maltese. She looks more like Maltese. I like to make a joke that one of the dogs in the family, Bear, he's a pure Maltese, and I like to say that Nina is secretly Bear's love child because she's a cream-colored Maltese, pretty much from her appearance.
And Bear's a Pierce Maltese.
Yep, and Nina's brother, Papa, he definitely looks like a Morkie. Nina's parents and brother lean more towards the Yorkie side, but Nina's unique in many different ways.
Hard for me to tell what Layla's breed is offhand, but she is that sort of black where you can't make out details, especially when you try to get a photo of her, but she's a little bit more well-combed, and she maintained her size not that much. She's very travel size, I guess you would put it.
One of the interesting things about the master here, as he's talking and as he's trying to bring this small little fluff ball in, I like how the design is flat, very flat, and yet if you freeze frame it, the mouth is three-dimensional. It's just very
weird.
Yeah, and yet he makes it work. Like, emotion's fine, but when it's in freeze frame, it looks very weird.
I think that these animators weren't thinking too hard about trying to animate the flat designs like Freleng and Jones were doing.
We get the whole setup involving, okay, hey, look what I got. I got this dog. It's a playmate for Chang. And we see the dog that we mentioned earlier.
I doubt if a pedigreed, thoroughbred toy Pekinese like Chang would relish the idea. He might be a little choosy about a playmate.
Oh, they'll get along swell, Alice.
Look at the design of the wife. Some people might think, why doesn't she have a nose? Again, I think this is just McKimson just trying something new. And honestly, I think it looks... It's interesting. It's different, at least.
She's cute enough. I think it's a little uncanny, especially since her husband is built all around his nose, but I don't know how to describe her other than that she has a little too much detail in her hair, and they have this really uncanny dog that looks nothing like them.
Robert's well, anyway, the man assured me he wouldn't get any bigger.
Manny, does this next bit happen to you?
Alice! Hey, Alice! Call Robert, will ya?
You come home and the dog just knocks you over. I mean, granted, it's a smaller dog, but hey.
I have fortunately never had that happen in my life because all my dogs are tiny. But when it comes to, I'm looking at Robert or Roberta on top licking. When I lay down on the couch, Nina does the same thing. She'll jump right on top. She'll stare at me, and then she'll start licking away. And I'm like, okay, literally, that's me. Nina, and I'm like stuttering because she just won't stop. She's being affectionate, but at another time, I'm covered in dog drool, whatever, and I just move my chair, and now I'm looking down on the ground, and Nina's right below me, staring at me as always.
We start the debate over what kind of breed Robert is, and then when we come home, we hear Harry go, Alice, hey Alice, and I have a feeling that they named the wife Alice just so they could reference the honeymooners.
Maybe. Maybe. That's what I was kind of thinking too. I think this is just a nod to all the sitcoms that were on at the time. But what a weird design for this dog, though. If you're looking at the dog's arms, like it's got a lot of fur, but then it's really thin. And then you see the feet. It's a very odd choice.
What kind of dog is this, honestly? It's a funny design, but what kind of dog were they honestly intending here?
Maybe deliberately they wanted to just make a little bits of everything just to confuse the viewer.
I think Chang is the breed that they're trying to maybe throw off the people watching this by thinking that the dog is female, but I don't think anyone probably watched this closely when it came on. They probably went to go get popcorn.
Yeah, because we assume that Robert is a male and we assume that Chang is a female, at least by looking at it. You do hear Alice referring to Chang as a he, though, but it goes by so quickly you can easily miss it.
Sure, most people did.
Yeah. But the way that Robert is animated, though, I like the animation of him getting all excited to try and be friends with Chang. But Chang's reaction, though, I mean, again, I've got to ask you, Manny, when Nina is pissed off, does she pull the same face?
Well, Nina, around me, around family, she's very affectionate. What, around strangers? Yeah, I definitely see a lot of that. And again, from my experiences, my life, my family has always had Malteses and now Morkies. And the littler they are, they can get really, really nasty.
Yeah, Layla, she barks like crazy sometimes at the window, but when she's outside, she loves everything. And I have to say, she goes gaga over anything in pants, because if you wear jeans, she just loves jumping on jeans for some reason. I don't know why. Have any of your dogs been like that, Manny, where they just love jeans?
Not to my knowledge.
That's
recollection.
weird.
I mean, I also rarely wear jeans anymore.
Wow, we really love talking about dogs more than the actual short itself, aren't we?
We barely even covered what is going on in this cartoon.
We see that Robert is terrified of Chang. Fair enough. Chang just wants to sleep, I guess, and he's maybe not in the mood, which, that could be something as well. Hint, hint.
Foreshadowing.
But now we do the whole thing, which takes up the majority of the short, which is, what kind of a dog is this dog?
If they don't get along, Robert's just got to go back.
Oh, Alice.
It would be different if he was a thoroughbred.
How do you know he isn't a thoroughbred? As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure he's some kind of a bird dog.
It's a decent idea, what kind of dog is he? But they go for a lot of the obvious jokes, don't they? Because the first thing, of course, is what kind of a dog? It's a bird dog.
Robert!
What does he do as a bird dog? Goes up a tree, pretends to be a bird. Why not
Pretends
go
to
for the obvious?
fly.
Yeah. I mean, the animation is great and all, but again, it's just
Nothing new.
Nothing new, but that's okay.
We've seen all these jokes in some way in other Spot Gag cartoons.
But to be fair, at the time these were released, no one ever binge-watched this sort of stuff, and they may not have been aware of these gags.
Only just got the first syndicated use of Looney Tunes at this time, because the Guild package would have started on TV. And I think the AAP package wouldn't have been available for another 6 months until then.
But this all sets up the next scene, where we get a book called The Thoroughbred Dogs. It's just a plain book. I mean, is that how you spell thorough? I have no idea.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, I hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
My guess is that they simplified it so it would fit on the cover.
Maybe someone started writing it. Kind of like a Disco Stew situation, huh, Manny? Huh? They ran out of room. They ran out of room, so there you go. The whole thing now, and this goes on for a very long time, it's the whole sitcom trope with the worker and his boss.
Oh, let's see. Afghan hound. I'll get it. Hello? Yes? Oh, yes, Mr. Simmons.
His boss wants him to do something. He's trying to find out what's going on. And the dog does all the, different kinds of dogs to try to figure out what he is. And I'm saying he, by the way, I'm aware of the
We're the
twist
ending.
at the end.
No one else, maybe. I don't think a lot of people have seen this one.
Exactly. But we do the joke, which we only just saw this joke a few cartoons ago by McKimson. It's to do with the boxer. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So the dog gets some boxer shorts. Yeah, and ends up putting on boxing gloves. So maybe the owner was previously a boxer or something, did amateur boxing.
I like that
know,
Robert knows where it is.
Or maybe he does his boxing in his free time. Who knows? Maybe he has a social life. Who knows?
Unlike us.
Maybe prep for
Yeah.
Chang.
Pipe down, you nincompoop. Oh, no, not you, Mr. Simmons. I was talking to... Someone here was making a noise. Yeah.
But we do see a lot of the McKimson squints during this whole boxing bit where he's practicing his boxing moves and ends up hitting Chang in the process. Again, does that look like Nita or what? It's being angry.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
And then recycle joke number 2, we get to Robert saying, maybe I'm a pincher, and we get that joke. And my favorite McKimson squint of the whole cartoon, where this dog goes to pinch the wife.
Yep. Which we conveniently don't see. I mean, granted, we don't see him pinch the master's bottom either, but at least we see his reaction. I think they probably thought, better not show the reaction of the wife, otherwise there might be a censorship issue. Maybe that's their thinking, but yeah. I love that drawing of the dog where he just looks all pervy all of a sudden and just walks up the pincher.
Well, he's clearly pinching the rear end, so clearly they couldn't show that. They could have showed maybe him pinching the arm or the back, but it's just funny to me.
Yes, Mr. Simmons. Ow! That? Oh, that! Oh, yeah.
You know what's weird to me about this whole segment? It just feels like we're at this people's home and we're just like waiting for them to get off the phone and set up dinner. It's just weird to me what exactly it's supposed to be because there's nothing too cartoony outside of the funny dog.
The whole thing is, and to Mel Blanc's credit, at least he makes the conversation kind of interesting, where with all these interruptions is able to change it up and actually continue the conversation. Oh no, we're not having a party, or oh no, not you, boss. And he does that sort of like a half Barney voice.
Teenage Barney.
Yes, it's a nice voice. It perfectly suits his character. I think he's done a good choice here. But next one, we go for the obvious Irish joke, and we see the dog looking exactly like Manny does on St. Patrick's Day.
I have a little Irish in me. I had an Irish stew for lunch.
I guess
I am a little Irish.
I guess I'm Irish by association because that's the closest holiday to my birthday. My birthday is exactly a week before St. Patrick's Day, so I guess. And I like the color green.
But now you know what you have to do. Burn the house down.
Ooh, that wasn't me this time. It was you.
Yes, I had to.
Okay, so trying to continue with this cartoon since we don't really want to. As the Irish setter, the dog dances, and the boss thinks that they're having a party.
But we got a wonderful animation, though, of the dog tripping up and ending up destroying that record player right there. Yeah. We're pretty much done with the conversation. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to now start packing. This is a good thing, and see you later. Wouldn't it be nice just to be able to go all of a sudden, okay, I'm traveling, see ya, and just drop everything and just go?
Yeah, the Irish Jig is by Ted Bonnickson, which kind of is the test that he was the only animator that could do somewhat fuller animation. I think only he and Keith Darling were the ones doing real animation in these cartoons around this point, at least. Warren Bachfelder could do it as well, but he was better at the Patty Freeling, I think. But yeah, they go into the bed and he has to pack for a trip.
What does he realize that the dog might be once he looks at the book? Oh, a sheepdog.
Oh, hey, that does look like you, Robert. Say, I'll bet that's just what you are, a thoroughbred sheepdog.
We all know what's gonna happen because it's a sheepdog. What has he herd into the house? Sheep. And it's just like a clump of sheep. They're not even like fully animated. It's like one thing just coming in at once. It looks really good, actually.
It's the most stylized thing in the entire cartoon in a way. That piece of animation, but only because it's so stiff.
Yep. And the cheapening budgets show us the aftermath of the house being destroyed. And yeah, the wife's pretty patient here, I gotta say. Alice, any other wife, she would have kicked her husband out by now, I would think, with all this destruction. But he just goes, because that's your 50s trope right there. It's like, oh, you're the woman, you clean everything up. You know, typical, right?
It almost is more UPA because of that, because there's not a lot of funny animal business, even though there is. It just feels literal. And then Harry gets back out, and then we learn that Chang can do a lot of business.
Yes. So before he leaves, I like how he's got that tattered shirt and a suitcase and says, don't do anything before I get back. And apparently he's gone for 4 weeks. I mean, that's some business trip. Maybe he does a lot of business too, if you get my meaning.
Speaking of business trips.
Yes. But he comes back, he's got a nice new suit on, but no suitcase, so I guess he left it behind, but whatever.
Maybe he got mugged and used all of his money to buy a new one.
Probably, but he comes back, he has to put the hat back on because I guess he's afraid to show he doesn't have any hair or something, and yeah, we see the twist. That it's not Robert, it's... What's the name, Manny?
Roberta, why did you... Roberta, that's a Billy Joel song from Street Life Serenade in 1974. Oh, sorry, this is not Anthony's Billy Joel talk. Yes, the dog's name is Roberta. By the way, but it's a very nice deep cut from that album, so go check it out.
Chang and Roberta had 4 children together. 1 survived.
But this twist, if you really think about it, doesn't really make much sense. I mean, come on, you guys are dog owners. Wouldn't one of the first things you do when owning a new dog is check their gender, probably for health reasons or whatever? Like, the first thing you do, or one of the first things you do?
Yeah.
Or even when you're visiting someone's house and you see a new dog, or is it a boy or girl, so you can, you know, say, hey boy, or hey girl, or whatever. The fact that they didn't check the gender all this time, or Alice knew the gender and just wanted her husband to make a fool of himself. It could be that.
This may just be me being a little too literal. Manny, I think we can agree that 4 weeks is a very short time to bond these 2 animals together finally, then have them be a couple.
Pretty much. I mean, I think what Chang did is, you know, Anthony, since you were saying, you know, hey boy, hey girl, I think what he did was he went, hey girl, want you to know See, that's another. Well, originally Freddie Scott did that in the 60s, but Billy Joel did a great cover of it in 1997 on his Greatest Hits Volume 3. I go from Simpsons references to my love of Billy Joel in one recording.
So yeah, and then we end on this weird shot of Chang being proud of what he'd done. But it's not really a wink, it's just an open of the eye. It's really weird. And again, the pupils are huge.
Yep, and he seems pretty happy with himself. So, yeah, we end right there. The one thing we didn't discuss, though, was the music, but do we really want to?
I'll go through it real quick. So, bark, bark, woof, 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 bark, 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 woof. There you go. Oh, we lost the plot just like this cartoon. Hi-oh! Anyway, I went there. So this cartoon obviously starts with the merry-go-round broke down, the Looney Tunes theme. You hear the song Winter by Brian and Gumble. This is A. Gumble, not Barney Gumble. Yeah, Homer. Then you hear a little bit of Stephen Fosse. You hear Old Dog Tray. One scene that always makes me chuckle, you hear a little bit of Frühlingslied, or in English, Spring Song by Felix Mendelssohn, you know, when he becomes, the cat's out of the bag. See what I did there? Well, Roberta is flying and pretending she's a bird. So, of course, you hear a little bit of Felix Mendelssohn. During the scene when Roberta is doing the Irish jig, of course, you hear the wearing of the green, not the wearing of the grin, which is a Porky Pig cartoon. And you also hear a snippet of the Irish washerwoman. So, look at that, two quote-unquote traditional Irish tunes.
We're not having a party.
And based off the cue sheet, again, this is my, I guess putting it out there in the universe, as some people like to say. I really want to see what are the names of the original cues that were written in this cartoon by Milt Franklin, because you see that songs were documented, but there's numbers missing, and those numbers missing indicate the cues that were Franklin originals. So hopefully one day I can take a gander at the originals and I can say, okay, during this scene, Franklin titled it. It could be something generic like Chang gets mad at Robert.
And they just are like, title of cartoon part 1, license song, title of cartoon part 2.
Yeah. Like, I don't even care if it's like that. At least I know, okay, cool. So in the future, I'm like, when I'm watching a cartoon, all right, this part over here is playing part 2, so I have an idea of it. When you were mentioning with the opening titles with the Scottish Terrier, it kind of reminds me, I brought up Billy Joel, I brought up Simpsons, and now I'm going to bring up my love of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. For some reason, I think I know why, but if you watch the original series, the 1987 series, when it has the episode title, da-da-da-da-da-da, that shows the name of the episode, something that drove me nuts as a kid is you would see the turtle who's associated with the swords, Leonardo, the leader of the team, he's blue. The 1987 series started the trend of the turtles having different colors. They all wore red in the original comics. But Leonardo is wearing an orange bandana. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's Michelangelo's color. But in some other episodes, you would see one of the turtles sitting with a box of pizza about to eat a slice. And that turtle has a blue headband. I'm like, wait a minute. Michelangelo's the pizza lover, but he's wearing Leonardo's colors. And that actually kind of makes some sense because based off some stuff I've read, those two characters' colors were originally reversed. Leonardo was going to be orange, Michelangelo was going to be blue, but then they reversed it when they started going full ahead with the animated series and the toy line. Kind of like what you guys were saying before. Maybe it was going to be a Scottish Terrier, but nobody bothered to tell, who was it, Don Foster, to paint the opening title with a different dog design. So, there's that.
Wow. More interesting than the short itself. But in terms of the score, look, okay, is this the worst we've ever seen? Absolutely not. I actually commend McKimson for trying something new.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I have to get this out of my system. He tried his best, and he failed miserably. The lesson is never try again.
We're getting more Simpsons quotes out of this than talking about the cartoon.
100%. But look, at the end of the day, not all experiments work. And this one, I like the visuals of it. I like the designs of the characters, as weird as they are. I do like it. And it's just got that aesthetic. And I've always gotten a kick out of the 50s sitcom scenarios and such. But the story is a little bit all over the place. It's fine for what it is. Look, 6.5 out of 10. It's more for the ending, I think, just how bonkers it really is. Otherwise, I might have scored it a little bit lower.
I'm gonna give this just a 5 out of 10, just because at the very least, I also commend McKimson for just trying something new, but this just feels like a tired workman just having to pull through something new that he wasn't as passionate about as he began it.
I was going to go with SC and say 5 out of 10, but there was like 1 or 2 jokes that I did get a little chuckle at. You know, again, being biased as a dog owner, dog lover, so 6 out of 10. There's nothing to write home about. You know, they were barking up the wrong tree when they were making this cartoon. I mean, you know, he can't win them all, but
That's
what
right.
I mean, when I was watching, I was like, oh, woof, this one's kind of rough. But
Oh.
I meant to do the wolf part.
Someone ought to put you in the doghouse, Manny.
How did we get to 40 minutes on this?
Because 25 minutes was either Simpsons, Billy Joel, or Teenage Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I think we'll finish up here. So that will do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And until next time, take care.
That's all, folks.
This is going to be one rough edit.
What is he?
Robert is a mother, aren't you, Roberta?